Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today we're going to talk about bow poundage and what difference it makes. So let's just take a little step back. Big question I get from people is what difference is bow poundage going to make for my archery? Am I better shooting 70 or 60? Now, from my experience, a lot of this comes from hunting and speed. A lot of people think a heavier poundage bow is going to be faster. That's not necessarily the case because you'll be shooting different arrows. Okay? So generally the lighter bows will have lighter arrows, heavier bows will have heavier arrows. So the speeds will be very, very similar, although a heavier bow should theoretically be a margin a little bit quicker. Now a heavier bow will have less impact in wind. So if it's a strong wind, the arrows will get kicked around less than a lighter bow. Now also when you wind down a bow, this is an Elite Ember, so I had this wound down to 27 pounds when I started. I'm up to about 35 pounds now. So when I started, the strings were quite weak, quite sloppy at the start. Now they're getting a little bit more tension on them, so it should shoot a bit better. Now I'm up to about 35 pounds on this bow at 28.5 inches. Basic sight, no peep sight, no stabilizer. Now I'm finding I get a little bit of this stuff happening. Look, with the stabilizer you could get rid of that. All we're trying to do here is see how I'm sort of shooting at the higher poundage versus the lower poundage. Someone said, well, I'll be interested to see how you're shooting now. So this is it. The arrows I'm shooting are Pandarus Ice Point arrows. These are a 3.2 diameter arrow, so they're the same thickness as an X10, but really, really cheap. These are really good arrows. I'm not saying that because I'm the dealer for them. They are really, really good arrows. So same thickness as like X10 or Revelation arrows, but they're really cheap. So same as a Skylon Paragon arrow, but cheap. And when I say cheap, what, 150 odd dollars a dozen for the shafts. So the thinner arrows are less affected by wind than a thicker arrow is the basic premise. But they're also a little bit more durable. So when the arrows are whacking into each other, a little bit more durable than a thicker arrow with thinner walls. So this will have a thicker wall to get the spine. Now I should say I'm at 18 meters. Wobbled around a bit that short. Now I'm at 28.5 inches. I found I was wobbling around a lot at 29 inches, which is my normal draw length. So I'd even be keen to go back to 28 inches and see how I sort of go with that. Now I'd say when I'm aiming, like sometimes the pin's dead center and then I get like the shakes up and the pin will go from like the 8 ring to the 8 ring. Now I don't know if that's just my strength coming back from the heart surgery because it still hurts across my chest. But yeah, I get a shake up but I'm finding it a lot easier at the higher poundage than at the lesser poundage. Not that I shot terrible at the lighter poundage. I just find the bow a lot crisper. I'm getting a lot less of the arcing into the target. I was going to say I thought I shot that really well and then it dropped short. But it was really stable before the shot, so I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Really disappointing. So coming from the heart surgery, I started off on a 20 pound M2 compound bow, and we've been gradually working our way up with the recurve and the compound in bow poundage. So every day I'm doing half an hour on the treadmill, I'm doing weights, which I started off on very light weights, and I'm gradually building that up, and I'm gradually building up my bow poundage without hurting myself. So when you do archery and when you do weights, you generally don't want to hurt yourself. But I really like the Ember to shoot. There's no vibration. It feels nice. If I got a stabilizer out the front, I reckon I'd get rid of all that. And that's going to be the next video I do, comparing the stabilizer to no stabilizer. Because I think I'm strong enough now to hold a stabilizer up. So I still feel tension across my chest here from the surgery. The worst thing was the shoulders. So the shoulders there really hurt. But I've got back all movement now, and my arms are all back. I don't have my strength back yet, but it's coming slowly. Now, I had a young girl in the shop yesterday. She's been in hospital with medical conditions, and she's in there for a week or 2 weeks or 3 months at a time. She's going in for another week in hospital, and she lost 10 kilos, and I'm going to guess she's probably only mid-30s. And she's started up archery, and I said, start off slow and gradually build your way up. And even if you can only shoot 6 arrows a night, it's better than nothing. And then come out the next night and shoot 10 arrows. And that's exactly what I've been doing, building this up. Now, in that process, if you're a beginner, you want to get your form correct. And I've been working on the form on the recurve, trying to get this hand, you know, like straight up and down rather than twisting it. But now it's just I want to build up the strength, build up the weight on the bow, and that's just time. I had a young man from the shop, and I probably already mentioned him a few weeks ago, from Sydney, and he was young boy, I'm going to say he's 12, and he's been in hospital with cancer, and for I think 6 months, and now he's doing archery. Same process, just do a little bit every day and gradually build it up. And, you know, like, just enjoy the whole process of just being outside. And for me, going from hospital to coming here and shooting arrows, the nicest thing is just coming outside, feeling the sun, and just relaxing into it. And if you're shooting, like doing weights, exercising, none of that stuff is going to hurt you. The more you do of it, the better, the healthier you eat, the better off you are. So everything you do is going to help you. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so I'm up here at the target. Look, I'm really happy with that group. And yeah, look, there's one down low, but that could have been me dropping my arm. It could have been anything, but the group's pretty tight. And very little left and right, a little bit up and down, but for the amount I'm shaking, like my sight pin is going from the 8 to the other 8, and I've got like some serious wobbles up. And I think part of that is my shoulders aren't very strong yet, so I think that will build up the more I shoot. So like just those 10 arrows, actually I can feel it in my shoulder up through around here, the front there I can feel it, or the back here I can feel it. So saying that, if you're shooting you can feel it, you could take a break, you can, instead of shooting like 10 arrow ends, you can shoot 5 arrow ends. But then, you know, my question would be now, do I shoot 20 arrows if I can already feel it in my shoulders? Or do I come back and do it tomorrow? Now the other thing would be to shoot like 5 arrows in the morning, 5 arrows in the afternoon, that sort of thing, but gradually build it up. Now I was in court today with a customer, and you're going to say, what's this got to do with this? Now he said, so he blew up his bow, and he's been shooting the bow for a year, and he wants his money back for the bow. So that's why he's in court with me. Now the company has offered him parts, but he's not happy with that. He wants all his money back. So it's a nice summary of it. And I'm like, no, you don't get your money back when you blow up your bow. Now if you are one of those customers who is like that, just buy bows from the other archery shops, not me, because I don't want to deal with it. That's the first thing, right? So deal with the other shops. Now I know the other shops will just tell you to bugger off, right? So this week I've got 2 bows being blown up from other archery shops, which they're giving me to deal with. I'm like, yeah, great, because they won't deal with it. So anyway, that's fine, right? Now his point is, so I said you torque the bow. So when you pull back the bow, you know, it'll like torque on their hand grip. And he goes, no, I don't torque. Everybody torques the bow. Every single person, impossible not to torque a bow when you pull it back. It's outstanding for me to think that I get, I'm going to say beginners, and literally he will be a beginner. He will be I'm going to say a horrible shot, and he's going to say he's a fantastic shot. But I would guarantee $10,000 I could beat him with my current bow, with my current heart problems, without anything, and he'll be watching this video. But I guarantee $10,000 I'd put on it that I could beat him. Coming out of surgery, right? And I'm not back to where I used to be shooting. But even myself, and I've been shooting 40 years, if something was to go wrong like this arrow here, it's like, that's me. This is me. I had a lady today, blew up her bow, didn't load an arrow, blew it up. Now I get about 4 bow blow-ups a week, and this week I think I've got about 4 already. Always user thing, user fault. You know, the bows are generally too heavy, torquing the bow when they shoot. Now if you're a good shooter, it's like I haven't blown up a bow, touch wood. I have shot an arrow, I've shot bows without arrows, probably done it on camera, but the thing is, it's like, just acknowledge that the machine itself, the bow you've got, will shoot the same arrow every single time. If I put this Ember in a shooting machine, it's going to shoot the same arrow every single time. The variance is in yourself, and that's why we practice. We practice to build strength. We practice to improve form. We practice to have the same shot all the time. We practice to not get flustered. We practice to get our mind in the right spot. And I cannot stress it enough. There'll be people who go to a tournament and they like start panicking. Or there'll be people who are winning tournaments and they start to panic. It's like the more you go there and they do stuff, the more time you put in to it, the better results you're going to have and the more you'll appreciate it. Like I appreciate this group. I'm like, this is a pretty good group. That's a pretty good group. Like, I'm very happy with that group. I've come home from work. I put some sausages on. That's not very healthy, but I put some sausages on. I'm gonna have some steak and salad and stuff. And this is my first end. I'm like, someone asked today how you're shooting. Yeah, I'd be interested to see how you're shooting with the higher poundage. I shoot better with the higher poundage. I get less strays. I get less left to right. And the reason for that is if I put more or different torque on the hand grip, less impact here. So the hand grip, the torquing is less impacted by the higher poundage. Face contact is less impacted by the higher poundage because it's holding more weight. Same as less let off. Less let off will be things will be better as long as you can hold it, as long as you're steady. So it's no use going, well, I'm going to shoot 30% let off if you can't hold it back here, steady. And this is why on a lot of the Hoyt bows, I'm going to go for Hoyt, they're harder bows to shoot. But if you shoot all the time, people shoot them amazing because they shoot all the time. But for a beginner needs an easier bow to shoot because it needs to be more forgiving for them. So again, I'm going to say, the more you shoot, the better you're going to shoot. Focus on yourself. Focus on your shooting. When you shoot a bad shot, forget about it. It's like, that's fine. It may be the arrow, right? It may be the arrow. But I don't worry, I'll go and do it again. I should really mark the arrow to see if it is the arrow. But the others are all good. Like, yeah, there's another 8 there, but that doesn't worry me. Like the amount which I'm wobbling, the amount which I'm moving, it's amazing. Absolutely incredible. So my next steps, I'm going to go up again in poundage, and I should probably be shooting more arrows before I go up in poundage. So I should be getting up to 30 pounds, but I'm trying to build up these muscles here because I feel really weak. I'm doing weightlifting for that. I'm doing cardio to build my lung capacity because I've still got the lung blood clots to work through. But just be happy with your shooting. I can't stress it enough. I really can't. Anyway, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching. Bye.